All right. We are live. It is official. Yep. While we sit here, I'm just going to be fat and eat jelly beans, drink my sweet tea until somebody says something. It's been hot today. Goodness. Jelly beans, though, man. Jelly beans are where it's at. It's been a heck of a couple of days. Hello, Amanda. Pardon me while I eat my jelly beans and drink my sweet tea. Shannon, how's it going? Indulge me, if you will. We're pretty good. Just got them today. So I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's had a pretty good month or so. It's been a little while, about a month since I've done one of these. Feels like a month anyway. Let me see. Yeah, May the 1st. So yeah, it's been about a month. I'm really behind on my live streams. You can already see I'm sweating right there. Hot in the south today. I think we hit 92. It's very humid. Well, the humidity wasn't so bad today, but I think Monday or tomorrow or Tuesday, it's like a 75% humidity or something. It's going to be 95. It's going to be crazy next week. So yeah, I shouldn't complain today because it's going to get worse. How's it going in North Carolina? Anybody with a jelly bean fetish is excited, I bet. These are the Starbursts. Yeah, Starburst. My kids, they wanted it. That's who I'm blaming it on. As the adult, I could have said no, but why would I do that? They're too good. It's like school's out, so, it's a summer thing. That's what I'm going to say anyway. It's been an interesting few weeks. I had all kinds of plans to go do stuff up in Gatlinburg. Went up to Gatlinburg. Kids got sick. I got sick. And it's been a couple of weeks. I got to tell you. It was some stomach bug. It was a mess. Those are the worst. I was going to do like multiple days in Gatlinburg. It was going to be nice. We never barely even left the room because they got sick right at we couldn't cancel. So we're just stuck. So I wasn't going to lose the room. So we just went up there and pretty much just sat in a hotel room, which was nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still in the mountains, but so much I wanted to do. And the kids too. We just didn't get to do it. Such a bummer. I did get one video while I was up there. It'll be coming out soon, but man, overall, it was a mess. My oldest, we had to take him to Children's. I mean, it was a whole thing. Like we were worried there for a minute. But we're all good now. for the most part. So I hope everybody, let's see, who else? We've got a few other people. I hope everybody's doing well for those that have just joined recently. See, I was trying to think. There's something I wanted to talk about tonight, but I can't even remember. It's been one of those afternoons getting the kids ready for bed and stuff like that. The Joe Diffie video that's coming out tomorrow, I was talking with a guy yesterday in the comments. You may could have seen it. And God, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. I suck at this stuff. Like, it kills me that I can't. Let me look. Because God knows I don't want to get his name wrong. Mr. Goody, how can you forget that, right? Yeah. Like he was saying he went up there and done it. So I went up there and I looked at his video and it's so much better. And so I'm just even on the fence about even releasing it. It's one of those that I don't even know. I don't know. Like I have quality, like a quality standard I like to try to adhere to. And it's one of those, like, it's on the fence. Like, that's the third time I've been there to film it. So I think I'm just going to put it out in the universe and just let it go. And maybe later, you and I, or all of us, we could go back and redo it later. But it's a very hard area to get into. That's why it's took me 3 times. And then finally this time I just said, hey, I gotta let it go. Like there is no, I don't really want to go back for a 4th time and redo it. The first time I was there doing something else and I ran out of time. The second time I did the whole video. I got home to edit it, it was kind of the same predicament. And then I realized I didn't even say his name right. His name's Joe Diffie, but the whole video, for some reason, either I was thinking George Jones or something. I called him George Diffie the whole time. And it's like, what am I even doing? And there was no way I could edit that. And just like, so I just threw all that footage away and I went back again. And it was like, here we go. We're just keeping it. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to change anything else. That's all I'm going to do. No more, That's all I wanted to do. And I do have some more, like the one I did in Gatlinburg I was telling y'all about. And there's one more after that I've got ready to go. But other than that, I've got to play catch up because I'm going to start running out of videos for you guys. I don't really want that to happen. But man, this inflation, right? I don't want to sound like some old timer, but my goodness, to have a traveling video YouTube channel is killer this day and time. Like those guys that do videos that just sit at home and make videos, like they're probably doing all right. They're not too worried about it. But I can't imagine those poor guys. I say poor guys, right? Those people that have a traveling channel, especially like the RV stuff and all that. God, I couldn't imagine how much money they're burning through trying to do content. Like what I do is it takes money, but I couldn't imagine what they do. It's a lot. Like it is a whole lot. Especially with an RV. I was just watching somebody this morning. That's what made me think of that. What else? Let's see. Eat some more jelly beans. There was a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, I wrote down who's been watching the Platinum Jubilee. Who's been all about that? It seems like that's all that's been on the news or on my YouTube feed anyway, was them talking about the Platinum Jubilee. Like they just seem like everybody's been all about that. I don't know why. I don't understand the obsession for the queen and the royal stuff. Like I don't get it. That's not really my wheelhouse. It's one of those things. I don't get it. Maybe some other people are into it and watch it. Let me turn that on mute. Yeah, the gas prices suck. You're right. And just like around here, I think earlier it was $4.49 Like that's the highest I think I've seen it here. Like back in '07, '08, when things were crappy back then, it was, I think I was in Michigan and they were five something a gallon up there. But that was, I think that's the highest I've ever seen it. You see those stereotypical like pictures out of California from that one gas station like outside of LA or something that's like $10 a gallon. But it's always like a one off. Like there's something about that gas station with, it's like a retirement community or something. I don't know. It's one of those things. But they always find that gas station to show. Like, can you believe it? Which gas prices out there, yeah, they're they're uh, they're pretty rough. Somebody just sent me a funny text. I can't read it. It's pretty funny though. I gotta text him back. Hold on. I don't want to like cut y'all off, but that's pretty funny. I really thought about going to play some golf today. I don't know if you guys watch the other channel, but I'll try to get out and play some golf and record that. And I think I'm going to use that as the like submit questions, like whatever you want to talk about, and then when I'm on the course playing, then I'll just answer those questions as I play, and then we could use that kind of as our question channel. Like you submit the questions, and then that's where I can kind of do that at. It seems like a good way for me to answer questions and do those things, and then do, you know, I think that's the route that I'm going. Well, thank you. I do appreciate it, honestly. Like anytime anybody says anything good about the channel, like it really does mean the world, because the it does take time and effort. Like some videos, I don't know, some don't seem like it, maybe. I don't know. But like everything, like I don't just kind of show up and I'm like, here it is, like there is a little bit of research done. Like I know there's probably other channels that maybe do more research. I don't know. I try to do as much as I can as far as to put out quality content and at least be respectful too. Like I don't want to just make it like a show. I mean, it was a person, right? Like, yeah, they may have been a celebrity and they were famous or whatever, right? Or God knows, like if it's like the lady in the rocking chair or whatever, they were all people, whether they had money or whatever. And it's like I just want to give them the dignity that they deserve. Like they're at the end of the day, they're still a human, just like you and I. So I want them to get the due rights. Which there's one in South Alabama that I just found that I'm going to go down to, and it's not a famous grave. It's just another one of those one offs. And I found a couple. Like I think I may do like a series. Like the famous things are still fun. I enjoy, like it's fun that, like I always say, it's fun that you and I get to go do these together, and it is fun because a lot of the times when I'm filming, that's the first time I've seen it too. So it is really cool. Like when I get there, I kind of do like a, okay, so he's in that general direction kind of thing, and then I'll figure out how I want to shoot it and then go from there. But for the most part, when I walk up to the grave, it's mostly my first time too, unless it's like Kenny Rogers or like George Jones. Like you can't help but notice those. But for the normal, regular type graves, yeah, it's fun for me and you both to do that together. Paul Bearer, no, but that is one I'd really like to go down there and do that. He's like a little north of Mobile, so yeah, I'd like to go do that. Um, there's a couple around that area. There's some over in Mississippi too that are kind of on the list. I just gotta. It's one of those things I need to just get a plan of attack and figure out how I want to go do those. Because I might can get one or two a week, but most of the time it's one if I'm lucky. Um, right now it's still tough to travel. I wish I could like travel and stay gone for weeks at a time and stuff, but that's really not a it's not an option. Well, and I also like with the bio, like so with that, like I don't want to put too much out there, but I don't want to go too little. But sometimes some people just don't have a lot. Like there's one that I'm looking at going um there's one that's up around Nashville that I'm considering going to, and there just isn't a lot to it. So It's one of those, like, it just is what it is. Like, I wish there was more, but there's just really not. I've looked and done and, all the things, but there's just only so much. I wish there was more, but there's not. And the country graves, like, it's fun being able to go do all those. Like, it's neat. I didn't, like, lived here all my life, but I never really thought like, oh, up in Nashville, there's just like this collection. Like, it's insane, right? Like the amount of like country music legends and just like all kinds of famous people, like, right, in quotes, that it's insane how many people are buried up there. And um like in Atlanta, like living around Birmingham where I'm at, like it's insane. I like to keep this 3 hour circle I always talk about, where that way I can go and come back within a day, where it's cool where I can travel so much and like see so many or visit so many graves and do so many things with. It's amazing what's around me. Like if I was in, I don't know, somewhere else in the country, like maybe the Northeast, I could, or out west, but it just seems like I'm sure I could find it, but there's just so much history that it's fun to be able to know that I almost have more than I do have more than I know what to do with. Like I can't see it all. I want to, but it's like, well, that's the good thing about the channels. It can go forever. So I've got content to go forever, which is great. The Donna Summer was fun. I enjoyed doing that because it was like I knew her grave was over on that part of the cemetery, but I walked for some reason. I just couldn't find it, and I walked all over that place, and then it was just so happenstance to walk up on it, and so that's why when you see me start filming, I'm at the bottom because that was one that I went and found because I had no idea, so I had to find that first. Jacob, how are you doing? Um, I'm trying to think. I think she may have been there's actually one in Mississippi. I can't remember his name, but I went over there to do his grave, and I've been there twice, and I still can't find it. Like I've walked the cemetery quite a few times. I can't. You would think if I've been there twice, I'd remember. But he was on the Touched by an Angel show. I can't remember, God. But Naomi, right? See, but this also brings up an interesting topic. Okay, so I'm probably an hour away from Vicky White, which is the lady that ran away with the inmate and all that stuff. And it kind of, this is totally separate, right? Tangent. But it's like with Naomi too, like that's kind of fresh. And I don't really know, like, well, plus it's Naomi, you know, you may hear some music. It sounds like there's a motorcycle outside. Yeah. Sounds like there's some good redneck out and about. Right now, there is no details as to where she's at. I'm sure with enough digging that I could probably find it. But then it comes to the point, like with Vicky, right? Like I don't want to get too sidetracked. Like when is too soon? Like because I've already seen a video on YouTube that was like somebody followed the funeral and went to the gravesite, and it's like I don't know. Like is that too soon? Like is the day of too soon? It's been a couple months. Like when it's like to me, I don't want it to be disrespectful, like with Naomi, right? Like the way that all happened, like we all know how that ended, right? Like I don't want to, like to me, if I do the video, I have to discuss what happened. Like we're at the end of it, we got to get to how they died. And I don't really know if is it too soon? Is it always too soon? Or, it's like I'm not worried, but it's like, like if the family watches it, I don't want them to be like, it's one of those situations. Like, I don't really want to, I don't know. I don't really want, I always, like, I guess with what I do, I don't mind being second place in showing the graves. Like, it's okay. Like, especially if it's that kind of situation. Yeah, like, give the family space, right? I just, I'd like to. Now, granted, I wish I could have been there. Like with Vicky, I'm really contemplating doing that next week. Like, I'm really, yeah, you're right. She did. She shot herself. But I'm really contemplating going up there and doing the Vicky White thing, or at least explaining. I'm not going to go to Indiana where they caught him, but the jail's right next to where she's at. Everything else, so it wouldn't be. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. Um, Even if I film it now, I still don't have to release it because it's nothing requires. I'm not, and I could delete it. It's one of those like I said with Joe Diffie. Like I did it 3 times, so I deleted the footage twice before I even got to this one. So it could still happen, but I'm still kind of on the fence about that. I'm sure people that don't care just don't care, and they'll just go up there and do it, and that's fine. That's for them not to really worry about it. But yeah, I just don't. You can tell I've really been dancing around this. I just don't know. Yeah, I was looking to see where the other Judds were, and yeah, so I assume Kentucky may be where she goes, but you never know, right? You would also think though it's Naomi, and there's I always have this assumption that all of them are going to get like this huge, like the Kenny Rogers type grave or George Jones. Um, Video I did last. What did I do last week? Yeah, I did one last week. I'm down to one a week right now, just because of life. I did the wigwam, and what else did I do? Can't remember. Oh, Eddie Rabbit. Yeah, that's what I put out. It's one of those. It's been one of those weeks. Yeah, the wigwam was fun too. Like I really enjoyed staying there. I didn't really film that much, like I said, because we got that's when the sickness started. So if you watch that video, it may seem like I'm yeah, because it was a very, very, very not fun time. I'm not like terrible, but you know how stomach bugs are. Yeah, I didn't know what part of Indiana all that happened in. Um, but it was one of those like even with I mean they only traveled. It was like a couple 100 miles when all that happened. So it probably wouldn't be out of the realm if I wanted to drive there. I could almost probably do it in a day, no further than they got anyway. But like I said, it seems a little bit too soon. Which I feel like I have this like if it was somebody under the age of 18, then it's like I'm not. That's not. I don't do that. But as an adult, and like especially with the whole jail thing, it's kind of like you probably should have knew what you was getting into. Like how how'd you not know it was going to end that way? So I don't know if I would feel as terrible about it. It's weird how you justify it, right? Like, well, I don't feel as bad about this one as I do the other one or whatever. But that would be my only justification in doing that one of her. Plus, I heard on the news this morning that they're fixing to redo his trial. Like, I don't even think he hasn't faced trial for the first murder or the only murder or whatever, or alleged murder or whatever. I don't know how to put that right. So I think he's finally going to court for that, which people will just forget about that anyway. That'll be one of those things. The news cycles done cycled. We've done went through what 87 shootings and all of that stuff. So we're moving on to the next thing. That's why I haven't really worried about doing it. Like I could have went up there and sooner and done it, but I'm not really a current affairs like one of those murder porn kind of bloggers or videoers or whatever they are. I don't really do that. It's not my territory. I'll let somebody do that that's better anyway. I like to try to keep it a little lighthearted, a little fresh. Even though we are going to the cemetery, it's more of a hey, let's remember the good things they did. That kind of thing. Instead of just talking about, you know, negativity and death. It's not really my thing. The last thing I want to do is, bring everybody down more than everybody probably already is. Yeah, Ashley and Winona, you would think they would that there's going they would have this huge thing like the Judds, but you never know how families are, right? like with Johnny Cash, um, like you go up there and a lot, there's a couple of Carters and a lot of the families all together up there with Johnny. And so you would think like the Judds would do something like that, but who knows, right? Yeah, like the celebration of a person, I much rather go through a cemetery and talk about that. I mean, not everybody has, perfect lives, but I mean, unless you've really like done something wrong, then I'm gonna which like with the Steve McNair in that video, like I kind of glossed over at the end of it, kind of what happened. And it was one of those situations like with the whole Vicky White thing. Like I just didn't really want to like everybody knows what's happening. And if not, there was enough people that commented about what he did and how wrong it was where I didn't even have to say it. It's there. People took care of it. And that's the good thing. Like if I don't say it, enough people in the comments will bring it up and that justifies it. And I'm cool with that. Like if that's how we want to approach it, I'm totally cool with that. Like then I don't even have to, try to dance around the subject. I could just like pin the comment at the top and it's like, yeah, I didn't bring that up, but yep, that's what they did. That's why it happened. Oh, but the wigwam. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Um, it's great. Like the beds, except for the beds. Beds. In the video, I explained that if if you weigh more than a child, you probably it's not that's not where it's at. I don't even know how you would have a better sleeping arrangement for that situation because um the beds are the old spring beds and they feel like they're about let's see if I can right there. They feel like they're about this thick, maybe about that thick. And when you lay on them, they get to about this thick. It's one of those things. And when I got there, like you can check and say, like, hey, I would like a little talk about the place. And what I really wanted to do was like sit down with the guy and like get the history and do the whole thing. But then the bug. But he said he wanted to keep it as original to 1937 as like opening day. That's what they're going for because they're going to replaster and redo. So I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. They changed the doors, they've done all the things. And then you get in there and the beds are still, it's like, I don't know if they plan to change the mattresses out, but it's like, no, it was tough. Like if I couldn't lay on my side because it was like my hip was like cutting into like the box spring. And so that was a very rough night. And when you rolled, like the whole, with the spring bed, like when you move the other side, you know how it is. And my youngest that was in the video, like if I rolled, I'm a large fella, so I felt like I was gonna like throw him out of the bed. So I had to like hold on to him all night, like he slept in my. I like just so he wouldn't fall off the bed because I was that worried about it. Like it was that bouncy. Which he said he did fall off the bed. You know how kids are. He swore up and down that I kicked him off, but he's alive. He's all right. He's gonna make it. But I would definitely go up there. I think it's worth the stay. Like I may be over exaggerating the beds a little bit, but I think it's cool. It's worth the stay. And if you go up, like we were going to do Mammoth Cave, and we were going to do the whole like kit and caboodle, right? But um yeah, we just didn't make it because of the sickness. And really, there's like the wigwams, and then if you go up to where the interstate's at, that kind of cuts through there. There's one or two just regular like comfort inns and just regular run of the mill hotels, and they cost as much as the wigwam. So it's like at the end of the day, why not like take the chance on the wigwam and like it was fine. Like it was I enjoyed it. I think once we get well and next year, hey Carol, once we get well and next year, hopefully everybody's like once school lets out next year, then definitely I want to go back up there and stay in it again and do like a full and maybe sooner, but at this point, I don't know. I almost kind of have my the year planned out of kind of ideas I want to go and do and stuff like that. And yeah, so maybe next school year we'll go back, we'll go do Mammoth Cave, and because that's a whole thing in itself as far as the walking, and like there's miles of that to do if we wanted to. But the wigwams, thumbs up. And it's a lady, a man and a woman own it. I don't think they're husband and wife. Well, hello, Dallas. They bought it during the pandemic, which is a crazy time to buy something. They were engineers out of either Louisville or Lexington, one of those two, and they just sold everything, bought the wigwam, and just that's what they do. They live in the little house next to them. They're going to try to open up the larger one out front, turn it into a coffee shop, and do all the trying to make it like it was back in 1937. That's their goal. They're just glad that it survived all these years. And I think they put it on the historic registry in like the late 70s, early 70s, somewhere in there. So that helped save it. But really, being up next to Mammoth Cave, that's the only reason it's still alive and going. Because there was one by where I live in Bessemer, but it was closed and torn down long ago, which it would have been cool to see that. Like, I really hate that, I didn't get to see that one. But at least we still got one on the East Coast. And maybe one day you and I can go to the West Coast and we can stay in the other two so we can check them all off the list and be done with it. But don't want to get the cart before the horse, do we? We want to just kind of take it slow. Which the channel's grown crazy. Like, I can't thank you guys enough. Like, I know I say it in every video, and I do mean it, like, legit. Like, you guys are awesome. Like, if it wasn't for you, the people watching me, then none of this would be possible. And I feel like enough creators don't do that. Like, as many videos as I watch, like, yeah, I know I'm as cheesy as them with the like, subscribe, share, do all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, like, it's really you guys that do it. Like, you guys are what drive the show and do all the things. My wife, she just like tiptoed down here like a ninja. Thank you about the I try to remember to click these things because I can show these comments. Yeah, the alien video, that was fun. Like, I had this idea of like I wanted to try something different as far as type of videos, because normally it's like when you see me, I'm at the location, we do the video, and then that's the whole you never know what you're going to find on the back roads, and that's it, right? So I wanted to try something different, so I did the travel vlog, which was fun. I enjoyed that, and the alien video was just like that random. Well, thank you. I mean, awesome, $2, man. Hey, not for gas. We can call that whatever you want to. We can call that like a pack of M&Ms, like I was eating before you got here. I got some Skittles, or not Skittles, but some gummies, and we got all the things. So we'll just call that, we'll say gas, but hey, yeah, the alien was fun. Like, I get there and legit, like I was saying earlier, most of the time, like, I want to be as surprised as you are, like seeing the tombstone. So I kind of have a path going around, like where I'm going to talk and try to weave through interesting graves, try to make it watchable. And then at the end of it, it's like, oh, me and you and I are both surprised when we see the thing, right? Or the tombstone or whatever it is we're looking for. And so on that, legit, I was going to call it a day. Like, towards the end of the video, you could see me going like, well, I think this is about all we got. I think it might be right here. And then just for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was the alien in the grave, right? Something just said, hey, why don't you go on over there and look at that? So I walk over there and we walk right up on it. Like, sure enough, all the way from the Great White North. How about that? And a lot of people say that, and it's weird. Like, the whole down to earth thing, like, to me, this is just me. Like, there's nothing, what you see is what you get, right? The way I try to do the videos is like, you, for instance, Jill, like, say you and I are in the cemetery together, or God knows wherever we're at, right? That's where we're at. And it's just the way I talk to the camera. It's just me and you walking. And they were just like, we're just, sorry, I comment sidetrack. Like, it's just you and I. We're walking through the cemetery and we're just having a simple conversation. Like, there's no need to be loud, because if you and I were standing next to each other, like we would be, there's no point for me to yell. There's no point for like whatever, right? We're just going to have a conversation about who we're there to see. And it'd be no different. Like, the only thing we don't have is you like answering the things that I'm saying, right? So in your head, that's one of those things you could fill in that. Hey, Michigan, what's up? The almost Great White North, like Jill is in the Great White North. But yeah, that's why I just regular, right? Like, I'm not I'm not trying to be some, like, even with my thumbnails, like I explained that, like I was talking to my wife, like I want all my thumbnails to try to look the same. So when you see that gray, blackish background with white letters and a face on it, you know exactly, oh, that's Backroads. Like, you're going to know who put the video out. There is no question, because you look at some of these thumbnails to me, and this is just like, maybe I just think too much about it. Maybe like you see some thumbnails about graves or like a famous grave, right? And there's this god awful amount of, like, they just threw up on the thumbnail of like pictures and words and text. And it's like, you don't have to stand out that much. Like, if you just put white letters on a black background with a picture of a person, the we that watch, I watch them too, right? We're not dumb. Like, we can read for the most part. Well, like, except for like my 4-year-old. But like, if he sees a big picture of something, he's going to point at that picture. But if you like make it huge or like put so much on it, then it seems like you got to focus more. I don't know. Maybe it grabs your eye with all the crap on it. But I just want it to be clean and simple. Like, nothing really, what's the word? Gaudy, is that the word? Like, I don't know, maybe that's some like redneck southern slang, but like, I don't want that. Like, just a simple black white picture, and hey, that's it. You know exactly what you're in for. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, it just is that. Anything else in Texas that I would like to see? Heck yeah, man, it's freaking Texas. Like, I barely scratched the surface. Like, there's so much stuff out there. Like, that day, the second vlog day, you see me drive to Dallas to do the grave, Vinnie Paul. And then in the video, I'm like, well, I may film one on the way back. So I didn't, but I did. I was able to, the next day, to get Mayhew and the alien grave. So it was like I had those. That was one of those, like, I put it in the can, because like once I got back, I was done for like a week. I was like, I don't want to travel. I don't want to do nothing, because I drove Dallas back in a day, which was like the dumbest thing to do. Like I did like 16 hours of driving. I ain't doing that again. But there's like stuff in Houston, and there's so much history in Texas, just like everywhere else. And that's just East Texas. Like, I haven't even really researched like West Texas. And that's a whole different, type of world out there. Like, I would love to go out there and do that. I mean, like, obviously one day we're all going to go, but it's like, I don't know when I'll get there, but we're going to get there one day. Like, hell or high water, right? We're going. Like, that's the thing. How's Michigan, Carol, by the way? Has it got hot up there yet? Oh, okay. So I talk about this. Tony, what's up? Okay. So the Bonnie and Clyde thing. I always have this issue with like some of these graves. Like, I feel like every YouTuber has this rite of passage, right? Like, in my field, and it might be like this in other fields too, or categories, whatever we are, where it's like, okay, so you make videos on graves, so you should probably go do the Dollhouse grave, which I've done, or maybe you should go do James Dean's grave, or like Bonnie and Clyde. It seems like there's this, like, if you watch the larger ones, it's like, or anybody, it's like we've all, or most of us have all went and done these. And so I've thought about the Bonnie and Clyde thing, and it's like, when I want to do it, I've thought about the way I want to do it, and I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to try to do, our approach to it in a way that hasn't been done, or I haven't seen it. So that's my take on it. So I am going to do it. I just don't know. I just don't know when. I just want to do it different because, like, yeah, we could go to the graves and be like, here they are right here. And then you got to go, they're in two separate ones. That would be easy to do. But there's another way. Another thing I say too is some of the that stuff is cashed in by the point of, well, everybody's already done it this way and they keep doing it that way, but nobody's done it this other way. And I can't believe they haven't done it this way, or if they have, I haven't seen it anyway. So that's the way I'm going to try to do it when I do it. I wish it was raining here. That's all I can say, Carol, because it's 93 to 94 degrees today, something like that. It's going to be 95, 96 this week. So, yeah, I wish we had a little bit of rain. We've hit that part of the year where we've kind of dried up. We tend to get dry this time of year. Sometimes it's a rainy year, but it seems like this year may be dry. But yeah, in Texas, I really want I want to go back. Obviously, like, to me, it was when I set out to do the travel vlog. It was like, well, I wanted to go do that spot in Mississippi because somebody had suggested I do that grave, and then I saw it was close, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, I can wrap that in. And then I kept looking and was like, well, I've done Vicksburg, so let's go into Louisiana. And then I went through Louisiana. I was like, well, let's go through Louisiana. Let's go a little further. So I go to Texas and was like, oh, well, I'll just go do Vinny and Dimebag. And then I found the little oil city, we went to. And it was like, well, yeah, we'll just do all that. We'll call that a day. That's cool. And so I kind of like the daily vloggy kind of thing. It's weird. It's not really my style, but it is fun. It's different. Like, it takes a different kind of approach, which is weird. I feel like I'm more analytical. Like, I want to try to frame a shot or whatever. And with that, you just kind of get out and go. Like, you just kind of throw shots to the wind. Cemetery Views, how's it going? I didn't say anything. I didn't want to promise that I was going to do a live stream today because I didn't want to, like, I don't know. I didn't want to have to go back on it because it'd been a month. So I was like, hey, I'll just get on there and do that. And I was going to start it at 6:00, and then life, right? You start doing stuff, and then the kids get in showers and like, okay, we're getting ready for bedtime. And you look up and you're like, oh crap, it's like 6:15. I don't even have my laptop. And yeah, it becomes like this whole thing. And then, but here we are. I made it. Thank God. Like, I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. I do enjoy it. It's fun to interact with you guys. I know it's like every time we do it, there's a couple of us that are always here, but it's fun how it filters in. Like, some weeks, some people can't join, but others can. And it's kind of like this revolving door of, like, getting to talk to everybody. It's really fun. And plus, you guys get to talk to yourself. Like, it's really cool. Like, I love it. Like I said in the Dallas video, it's like a community. Like, I never thought, like, me, like, we could have something this cool. Like, I always sell myself short, I know, but it's really fun. Like, I'm glad we get to do this together. I'm trying to think. In Texas, there was this one historical site. Obviously, there was a bunch of massacres and stuff like that, from like back in the day with Native Americans and stuff. And I was going to do some of that, but just didn't make it. There was one lady that was buried and then dug up and then buried somewhere else. And I think she may have been moved 3 times, 2 or 3 times, one of those. Like, she was buried in Texas, and then I think they relocated her to Oklahoma. And I had almost thought about going up to Oklahoma to do that. And, like, once I start going, I almost have to pull myself back because I'm like, oh, well, I go to Oklahoma, and then I get to Oklahoma, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go to Colorado. And then I'm like, wait, what? I have to, like, in my head, I have to go, whoa, stop, pull it back. Because I start going too far. And it's like, I don't know. It'll take me 7 days to get back by the time I'm done. Like, I'm not ready for that yet. I don't think. Like, I think I could do it, but I don't know. Like, that's one of those trips. Anyway. Okay. So there's nothing ever better than a catchphrase, right? Like that was one of those things that I said on a whim. Oh, Mickey Mantle's in Dallas. See, I didn't even know that. I would have went there that day. That's one of those like I just whiffed on. But he's going in the book. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. I'll explain the backroads thing here in a second. Hold on. All right. Okay. That's in the okay. Anyway. So yeah, like if I go back out anywhere else, like I think I've got a Macon trip lined up soon, but towards the end of summer, I may go back to Dallas or go back out that way. So that's a good one. But yeah, okay. So the never know what you're going to find on the back road. So if you go way back in my videos to gosh, August, October, it's Little Richard. I don't remember what day it is, but it's the Little Richard video and it's Mark and I. And you may know Mark if you watch the golf videos. Like for those that have just joined, like I do have that second channel where I play golf and, you know, waste money because I go out there and lose all those golf balls. But Mark and I play golf together. And sometimes he's along for the ride as far as some of these videos, if they're local, if he's got time. And we're just out there and I'm filming and it's like, well, there it is. And then just out of nowhere, it was like just from out of the universe. Like it just came. I don't know where it came from, but I just said it and it just popped out. It's one of those like, I don't know where it came from and how I got it, but it just happened. Like I'm sitting there and I'm talking and I'm like, hey, you know what though? You never know. And it just flowed out, right? It was just like hot butter coming out of my mouth. That didn't sound right. It was hot butter. No, that was. Look, I wish I could just like stop and cut that out and start over, but it's too late for that. So yeah, it just natural, right? Like I couldn't like once I said it and we cut the camera, I looked at Mark and was like, "That's like the coolest catchphrase in the world." Like I can't believe, like I can't believe that. Like what? Where did that come from? And it just happened like out of nowhere. I have no idea. I didn't really think about it. Like I had kind of been thinking about like, oh yeah, we need like a cool, like some kind of cool little catch. Like I want something to say every time because there's nothing better, you know, like catchphrases are fun to say. Boom, tough acting to acting, right? Like I was watching some John Madden stuff today. And yeah, like just there's nothing better than a catchphrase. So it's one of those like I mean, I've got to the point now where I even address how cheesy it is, where I'm like, hold on, let me say my little cheesy thing because I feel like I've said it so much that it's just I almost feel like I need it on a shirt for some reason. But it's so many words I haven't put it on a shirt because it's a lot of words. Like I don't if you never know what you're gonna find on the back roads or I don't know. I'd have to get with the t-shirt lady for that. But yeah, I don't know where it came from, but it just somebody somewhere just was like, I got you one. Here you go. From the universe, right? Hello. How you doing, babe? Liz, how you doing? And at first too, I was kind of like gun shy to say it because I was like, is it really? Is it good? And then I talked myself into it because Mike, by the way, thank you. I didn't see where you said I did an awesome job. Thank you. Like honestly, like thank you. It does mean a lot. Like because I really get down on myself a lot, thinking like, it's not that great because you watch. I don't really watch the same people that do what I do because the last thing I want to do is be influenced. I want to try to have like the same like I don't want to have the same ideas as them, like that same style, or like I don't want to be like a copycat. I guess that's what I'm not going for. Or like the toughest thing is if I've got a video done and I'm going to release it, and then somebody else puts the same video out that I'm about to do, and they're a larger channel. I know it's over. Like I just released the video, but I know it's not going to do well because the larger channel it's going to consume YouTube, the algorithm. It's not even my fault or that channel's fault. They don't care. But the algorithm just won't point people to my video because that larger channel will get more views, more likes, more shares, right? So it just automatically will just push everybody else's aside for that one. And thank you, Liz. I'm glad you do enjoy the videos. Honestly, like honestly, like I can't thank you guys enough. Like it does mean the world. Like I think the releasing the same type of video, that one's tough, or just in general, like some of that stuff. Yeah, see, like catchphrases, right? It is cool, right? Like I totally get that. Like it is fun because it helps you, right? Like even it just helps, like because right, that they're there and they're watching, so right? Like that's cool. I really like that. Like we were, okay. So I'm gonna put this up here, right? And I hope you don't mind because we had just had this conversation, my wife and I, and I'm sure she's okay sharing this because I'm okay telling it because it's one of those things, right? There's all kinds of these little things. Like, I don't know if you've heard of the mummy. Like, maybe this is some old Southern thing or something, but um, when um, you're born, there's like a mummy that's after you, right? So you have to keep moving, or the mummy catches you, right? That's one of those things. And then there's a coin, like it could be a penny or a quarter, or it could be a monetary, whatever, right? But if you see that, then somebody's bringing you good luck. And one of the money thing happened like when my son was sick, and we had to take him to Children's, and it was like you see all these random coins, and it's like that's one of those, like you see it, and it's probably been there for God knows how long, but in your mind you use that as your healing, your coping, because you're like, oh, there's that money, and I know that shouldn't be there, so it's there though, so that's going to help me get through. That lets me know it's going to be okay, and that's cool. Like maybe that's a long way around to say I totally understand what you're doing, and that's really cool. Like whatever, hey, that's really neat. And some people, it's weird how some people like poo-poo that, right? They're like, oh, whatever. But like I really think it's neat. Like some people just don't have enough faith, right? It's weird. Because I'm not like a big spiritual person, but like it's not all science, right? Can't be. We're more special than that. We got to be. There's no way we're just meat sacks. And if we are, and if somebody says that that's all they believe, then that's kind of a religion too, isn't it? Not believing is just as much of a religion as believing. Sorry, I didn't want to get too heavy. It's not really what we do here, is it? Even though we do talk about graves and stuff, There was something else. Let me scroll back up. Oh, the filming style. Yeah. I mean, it's really, yeah, I agree. Nothing in the universe is wasted, right? Everything, right? I get it. What in the world? Sorry. Oh, the filming style. Sorry, I don't know. I go somewhere sometimes. It's it's kind of evolving, and that's which is good, I guess. Shouldn't it all? Everything should always be evolving. Like when I first started, you're talking phone, phone on a little stick, and I would have to shoot in like 720p to then drop it into iMovie, and then I would run out of storage, like on the Little Richard video. Like I'm filming on my older iPhone that then runs out of storage, and then you have to make the effort. Like I'm still not even like making money then, like, and it's not great now, but it was zero then, and like I have to make the commitment. Like I'm editing and shooting on the phone, and so I'm like, okay, I can't do this no more. So I dropped money on a new Mac and a GoPro, and it's like shortly after that, right? So that's I get the handle and you get all the crap, and so it's like okay, I'm starting to shoot that way, and then like going through the cemetery, that style changes. So the way like maybe this I don't know if you guys mind inside baseball, but this is my thought process. Um, like originally, like as the more I do this, I went back and I've cut a video, or I'm fixing to cut a video of like a compilation of stuff, right? And I've started going through some of those older ones, and you can tell like it's some of my earlier videos compared to now, because I wasn't you could just see I wasn't as comfortable, and I didn't really know the presentation style, and it just didn't look, you can tell it's different, which is fine because it's an earlier video. But oh yeah, like so the random person in the grave, yeah. So I'll cliff note that. So yeah, like starting, it's just me, like, and I would kind of walk straight to the grave, just very cut and dry, a very quick type of video. And then it's like the more I done it, the more I wanted to stretch it out and make it longer, not for any reason, just to try to tell more of a story, because everybody has a story, right? So let's tell as much as we can. And then yeah, it is money well spent. Like I do agree. Like you get what, like you get out of it what you put in it. And the um like you start traveling, you go into different places, doing different things. And now it's like I've got the drone, so I've kind of changed um in the shots of how to do the drone with while I'm filming. And I wish I would have bought a different drone, but it's like looking back at it, like I'm kind of glad that we're getting there. It's starting to change, and it's ever evolving, I guess. Like, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep it. I don't want to get stale. Like, I don't. I tell my wife this all the time. Like, I don't want you guys to get stale. Like, I don't want it to be that same cut and dry shot that it seems like most everybody uses. Like now that I've got to a place where it's like I'm done with that. Like I want to change up and do as much as I can. Like the whole you talk to them, turn the camera around, talk to them, see you later. Like I want to do more, change it up as much as I can. I know sometimes you're like hamstrung. Like I can't fly the drone everywhere. A lot of cemeteries, the larger popular cemeteries are not really cool with that. They don't like it. I haven't been told to leave, but you can just tell if I'm there holding a GoPro on a stick, I have a lot more people watching me. At, like, especially when I went and did Rod Roddy, like there was a guy that watched me the whole entire time I did that, and I even pointed it out in the video because they were not. He was not cool with that. He let me do it, I guess, because I wasn't out there making loud noises or whatever. But yeah, plus you run into funerals, and so I don't want to. I don't want to be out there with this loud drone buzzing with funerals, because sometimes when I was out there, it's during the middle of the week, during the middle of the day, and they're burying somebody, and I don't want to be that guy, which you're going to see in the Joe Diffie video. There's a reason I didn't go talk to and do things, because there was a funeral. And the lady in the graveyard, that was one of those just things. Like now we're getting to that thing. Um, I'd set out that morning. I was like, well, I'm going to go up there and just do that grave. I didn't really know a lot about the cemetery. I knew about the grave itself, but I knew it was an older cemetery. And I was like, well, that's cool. We can walk around. We haven't done, and I even said it in the video before I even knew any of that was going to happen. I was like, we can just walk around. We'll just see what we see. We haven't done like a graveyard video, like a walk in a while. So let's go do that. And then just out of the blue, like when I first saw the lady and she came over to talk to me, I was expecting, oh no, like one of those type of interactions of, hey, you got money, whatever, right? You can imagine. Like I didn't know what I was fixing to run into, because normally you don't really run into people alive at the graveyard unless they work there. And she didn't work there. So I didn't know what was fixing to happen. And then she did she worked at the newspaper of Holly Springs. She took down my name, and like I may have made it in the newspaper. I don't even know. Like she took pictures of me, and I was like, wow, this is like weird, but it was cool because she knew so much information Like she knew everything about that cemetery, and it was fantastic. Like when I on the way back, I was still riding on this high from that. And I was like, I gotta start calling people and like scheduling people to meet me at places. And now that I come off of that pretty quick, but like I think I wish like if I was just commenting to somebody today about over at Oakwood. They all start running together. The one in Georgia where Kenny Rogers is, when I uploaded that video 6 months ago or whatever, a lady reached out and said she did the tours there and she would be more than happy to give me a tour of the place. So I'm pretty sure pretty soon I'm going to try to find that name in the list and I want to contact her and make sure she's still working there. And if she does, I'm definitely going to hit her up for us to get a tour of that cemetery because that place is great too. And it's like a lot of these larger historic cemeteries, I would almost pay somebody, if they knew enough about everything to give us a tour. So you and I could like go along for this. And I've got some more camera angles too, like going back to the whole, like the filming and stuff. Like I've got some more angles that I'm going to try to work on. I've got to cricket hat. I got to come up with, I got to design something. Like there's something I'm thinking about. I've got to build to do this with, but yeah, that's a whole different, that'll come later, I think, because I'm tired of holding the thing. Like I want to be able to talk to you guys. Like I always say, like you and I are walking in the cemetery, like both hands. Normally I have to talk with one hand is, like this. I don't want to free both hands. So that's what I'm working on. And I haven't found anything. And the stuff I have found is for like, it's astronomical. And it's like with what I'm trying to do, I don't need like this crazy gimbal type thing. Kenny Rogers' grave I feel like it's probably the most like elaborate or one of the elaborate that we've been to. I'm trying to think that, I mean, obviously those older ones where like Eddie Rabbit is buried was different, but they're like people with like bankers, of course, right? They're going to have some goofy, elaborate thing. But like as far as celebrity goes, like I feel like that's one of the largest out there. Like his is legit, like a big deal. Like it's legit. Which they had to buy. I don't know how many lots, but it had to be 3 or 4 lots. Like that was not just wait. That was not. Well, Kenny's he's on an older video. If you want to go back through the videos, like we went there. Gosh, man, it was November, somewhere in there. It's been a while, but we went there, and that whole graveyard is amazing. Like when you first walk in there, there's the guy sitting in his chair with his top hat on, and Margaret Mitchell's there. The lady, the Gone with the Wind lady, she's there. Bobby Jones, the golfer that bought the land to start Augusta, which is the most renowned golf course in the world. For a golfer like me, Augusta is like that's like your holy grail, right? It's like the place to go play. And there's this huge, the cemetery from like the Civil Wars there. There's a potter's field. There's a slave field. I mean, anything you could think, like that place has got check it all off, right? It's all there. Like senators, governors, rich as far as like your bankers, those wealthy elites from that antebellum time are all there. And it's wild. It's a crazy, and it's huge. Like, and you can't drive in there, or if you can, I've never seen anybody. I've been there 3 times. I've only filmed there once, the Kenny video. I took a couple of people that rode with me to do videos there, but yeah, it's really neat. It's a cool cemetery, and like Carol said, like she says, she learns a lot, right? Like if that's all right, I got you. All right, I'll check the DM. If that's what if that's the one thing that I want to do, then that's mission accomplished, right? Like, I was watching my wife and we were looking at some videos. We were looking at famous YouTubers in Alabama, right? And so we were looking at some of the people that suggested. And needless to say, I wouldn't classify the way I put it was their videos have zero brain food, right? And it's not knocking them, right? Like a bunch of people want to watch it. But to me, it's just like when you watch it and you get done with it, it's like you wasted 8 or 10 minutes because you didn't get nothing out of. There was nothing there. It was like a potato, like you just watched or you ate a video potato. Like there's nothing that you gained out of none of that. Like it may have been entertaining, but I don't really. The only stuff I watch is like history, like nerd crap, and like World War II and Civil War and just like garbage like that kind of stuff. And it's like only thing I want to watch is something that teaches me. So I guess that's how I want to film is I want to make stuff that shows people stuff. Like I've got this idea too for like some Civil War stuff that I'm fixing to start working on. And it's it's going to require like using the TV behind me and I'm going to have to plan this thing out like it's an actual show you would watch on TV. Like that's where I want to start doing some stuff like that in that area. Like now that I've got some time, I want to try to start doing that. And yeah, like I want to give brain food. Something like when you watch it, you go, "Huh, I want to at least get one of those." Like if I can get a "huh" out of every video, or I know that, I want one of those. Like, oh, I didn't know. You give me one of those in a video, I feel like I've done my job. Or if you even just looking, sometimes like when we're looking at the grave in general, like if you just look at the grave, like just you wouldn't think some of these people are buried where they're at, and I don't want to give you a potato video. Like that's my goal because that's what some of those seem like. And not knocking the people that were making the videos. It ain't nothing against them, but like I just don't want. That's just not my style. And a lot of people like it. Like a lot of people, and it ain't like the graveyard guys like me, right? Or whatever, our kind of niche. Like these are just regular, like um just I guess vlog type channels. I don't know. It's not really my area, but it was weird to watch. Have I been to the cemetery in Youngstown, Ohio? No, I have not. But that sounds like a cool place to go. What is in Youngstown, Ohio? So what do we got? Let's see. It looks like a classic. It looks like a nice old cemetery. There's a congressman there. Wow. Yeah, that looks nice. Let's put that on list. All right. It might be a while before I get to Ohio, but yeah, that way I can remember it. Yeah, there. So yeah, that way there's so many. It's like I said earlier. There's so many places to go and so many things to do that. Now, as far as like since you and I have been going to places together, I guess Dallas. Well, Dallas, Kentucky, North Carolina. Well, Charlotte. Yeah, so Charlotte because we did Billy Graham. I did Billy Graham. Like, gosh, that feels like an age ago now. But I would like to get like I have family in Michigan. Like I think I've talked to Carol about that. That I'd like to go up there and see them. Well, it's not my family. I consider them family. They're my wife's family, but they feel like family to me. And they may not feel the same, but I may feel like I may be like Eddie, cousin Eddie to them. Like I show up and like that's how I may be to them, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'd like to get up to Michigan. I'd like to go this year, but I just don't know. I honestly don't know if it's going to happen. I had planned to not plan, but I'd hoped to go up there in May, but you know, things happen, right? Life happens. It looks like a cool cemetery. I'm gonna have to give it a look. See, I'm glad that you suggested it. The more, the better. The more I can just add to my. There's a board right over there. If I can't add it to the board, then I put it in the phone. That way, it helps me. I have like this crazy running list. No, James Dean, you trust me. I bet you can't miss it. And I think that they're on his like third or fourth headstone too, because those things keep getting stole, or they used to. I think they may have like concreted that thing now. But yeah, people got those sticky fingers, especially with that. They like to take it for some reason. Don't know why. I don't know if I would want to like try to lug around James Dean's tombstone. I don't really see it would have any like value. Like maybe if you found like a shoe he wore. Ann Arbor, when I travel, see, I'm trying to hold on. Well, thank you. And okay, so this is another thing. It's like I feel like I do too many graves like other people. And I don't know if that's just me being like overthinking it, but it's like I worry that I do too many of those. Like I try not to, but I always like if I have an idea of like, oh, well, I'm gonna go like with Joe Diffie, right? It's like it'll be out tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see who's done Joe Diffie before I just waste my time, right? Because like I said earlier, even though my video may be newer, if a larger channel has put that video out before me, the analytics don't care if my video is newer. They're like, yep, we're still going to suggest the other one. So if nobody's done it, then I know it's like, okay, well, that's cool. It's a clear path. Let's do that. So the guy from ZZ Top, oh, cool. I didn't know that. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'll get back. Got to make a note. How about I just there? All right, took a note. Okay, so yeah, I look and see if that's been done, and if not, then it's like, okay, well, let's get to right. We fill out I do my little story that I want to tell, and then we go do it, and that's kind of how I approach it. But if I Google it and I see that a bunch of people have done it, um, then we don't, right? And it's like the witch's grave. Like there's another witch in Alabama that I got to find. I don't know where it's at, but I've seen it in a video, and it's an older video, and I got to find the video to reference, to find it. But it was done in some like compilation, one of those like top 5 type things. So it'll take, I don't even know how I found it. And then it's like, it's been so long. But yeah, there's another witch grave I got to get to. And she's like up in like bricks, and it's pretty cool from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, back to Ann Arbor. Here we go, back around. Kinda, I guess. I don't know. I've been up through there. I think it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours like from where I was gonna go, because they're out around the east part of it, like outside of Detroit on the east side, going towards Canada, like Port Huron. Maybe that's the name of the place. But yeah, somewhere that way. So Brexton, okay. Yep, with the witch grave. Yep. The sorry, I'm reading and talking, and it's a lot going on here. But the witch grave he's talking about, it was one of those like I hadn't seen anybody do it, and so I was like, oh well, that's cool. And the bummer is like when we go there and the stone is like all knocked over and all broken stuff, like it wasn't right about like that had just happened within like a year or so. Yeah, the Bell Witch lady. Which okay, so that's like we were talking about God, I didn't forgot in Texas. Who was it? Oh, Bonnie and Clyde. Sorry. So we're talking about Bonnie and Clyde, and I was saying there's a different way I wanted to film that. There's a different way I want to do the Bell Witch too, and I got to figure out a way to tie her in Mississippi to the family in Tennessee, and I want to. I got a thing right. There's a way I want to do that, because it would be easy for me to go over there and be like, right here, that Bell Witch lady, That's where she's at, right? But it's like I want to do more. Like I always want to try to do more. I think that's a lot of my problems is I want more and more and more. And it's like, what else can I like shove in, like push into this video to like do? And sometimes I may do too much, but it's like I want to try to like that brain food, right? I want to just feed as much as I can into the video to make it worthwhile. Like I want to try to make the video worth watching. Where you watch it and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. Like that's what I want. Because I always say when you watch a video, you can tell, and I hope like I try not to do it, but it's like I feel like you can watch a video and you can see if a creator's phoned it in, right? The Bell Witch Carol is great. Like just do some Googling and the whole thing is up in Tennessee. I don't know if I can go film in there, but I know Ghost Adventures, like one of those ghost shows on TV, they go in there and they make a whole show of it. But yeah, it's a whole thing over a cave and it's a thing. And there's been a couple of podcasts about it, of course. I think last podcast on the left did a whole thing about it, and it's like poltergeist, and it's very interesting. Like when I thought about doing it, I think I may do it around October. I mean, since it is like ghost related and like spooky, I think I may like do all that around October, and it may take a video or two to do it. Yeah, it's almost in Kentucky. Like when I was looking at where like the cave is, and I think that some of the house may still be up in there, some of the log cabin. Like there's quite a few of those areas up there. Well, thanks, Lee. I do appreciate that because, like I always say, and it's like it almost as cheesy as my little catchphrase. Like I really do appreciate like everybody that watches. Like I can't say it enough, man. Like it's really you guys that make it. Like that's what, and I don't think, yeah, like the David Koresh, man, that's a whole. Did you watch that on Netflix? Like I wonder. I don't really know a lot about the Branch Davidians and all that stuff, but like I feel like maybe some of that was hammed up because it is Hollywood, but a lot of that had to be true. And if a lot of that was true, that was a little crazy. Like I haven't finished all that, which I know you can still kind of go visit that complex too. Like they still have hours of operation and you can go check all that out. I know obviously the place is burnt down and it's all cleaned out, but like the Branch Davidians still operate, don't they? Like it's still like a thing, or it seems like it's a thing anyway, which to me seems, like I don't want to call nobody crazy, but it's like, wow, like you guys are still a thing even after all that went down. Which I mean, the ATF didn't help. I mean, let's just cut it where it's at. I bet it was wild. Like I'm not going to say I was little, but that was in the early 90s, right? Wasn't that like 92, 93 ish, somewhere in there, 95 at the latest? I was younger. So I was worried about Ninja Turtles and not Branch Davidians. Like I didn't know what a Branch Davidian was. I thought you were dividing a stream and a river, right? Like Branch, whatever. But yeah. And now that I'm older and you go back and look at it, it's wild. Like that whole situation. Because you really don't know who shot who in there, right? Like you want to say like you can't believe he killed everybody, but then the stories you don't know what's what, you don't really know who to trust, and it seems crazy what happened. Like even to this day. Plus, I mean, we know. I mean, let's just be honest. Most of the time, when the government handles something, it doesn't really go great. So the ATF or whoever it was, FBI, any of those three-letter guys, they sometimes can flub up stuff. They're not known for having the best. They're not known for having the best control. Plus, they don't work with each other. Well, a lot of those people like Koresh and Bundy and Manson, they have that weird, the psychopath that's able to like convince people. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like that. Have you saw the pictures lately of, what's his name? The dude that played Morbius, that terrible new movie from Disney or whatever it is. Jared Leto. He's got like he's doing this. And I couldn't believe it. Like he's dressed up like looking like Jesus or something with a bunch of people wearing white and he's got like a cult. And it's like, what? Like people will fall for anything, right? It's like you don't want to say drink the Kool-Aid because it wasn't even Kool-Aid that those people drank, but it's like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe like it still happens. Like you would think people would have enough sense, right? And it's crazy he would kill the children too, like the just the psychopathic nature, right? Like that whole situation was crazy. Like he was, it takes a true psychopath to do something like that. Like I don't even think people with normal mental capacity, like we try to think like we could figure that out, but I don't think we can truly figure out that kind of a person unless you're that kind of a person. Like I always have this question of like, do stupid people know they're stupid? And I don't mean like developmentally disabled people. I'm talking about like those, you know who I'm talking about. And it's like, do they know? Or do they think they're smart and then there's somebody that's not as smart as them? And it's like, is there like a cascading list of like dumber think they're dumber than dumber and so forth, right? Like I always, it's like it's hard to put your mind in the place of a person because you totally don't know the circumstances or like a psychopath. Like we're not serial killers, or at least I hope the 13 people that are watching aren't. But if you are, hey, like I'm good. Like you don't, you know, let's not do that around here. 14 people. Like I couldn't imagine. I mean, if that is what you do, then more power to you. But I mean, I don't condone it. Like whatever, I guess this day and time, whatever happens, right? It's crazy. Joaquin, yeah, that's just he's a decent actor though. Like I mean, he's all right. Once again, I wouldn't know how to like act my way out of a bag, but I could probably figure it out if they gave me like one of those redneck backwoods roles and like a new. You're right, it is something in the eyes. They have this like I don't know how to. They're like real bug eyed or something. Like they it's almost like a trance. Like they can look at you and put you under a spell or something. You would think that those people would turn against him. Like you would see because they're they know it's wrong. Or a lot of them have this like, well, this doesn't seem right, but we're still going to do it because it's what he says, and it's weird. Like I don't know. Maybe if you find a person in a low enough place in a weak with a weak enough mind, you can almost convince them to do anything, right? Like if they're at the bottom of the bottom and they're struggling and they need help, then maybe you can brainwash somebody. I don't know. I'm sure the government's been trying to do this for years too. I don't want to get all cuckoo, but like they did that MK stuff back in the day, and I'm sure that hadn't stopped either. So if like an Eric Koresh can do it, then God knows people with real money can. Which they people still do it. Like even with like Apple and Google and like people are like this, the sheeple, right? People would. It's like a team thing. People like teams. It's weird. Like I want to be on your team, and your team sucks, and it's weird. Like we like maybe that's that old caveman mentality, right? Where we're like this group of like maybe we like it's like a comfort feeling or something, like we're a togetherness, or I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with that. Yeah, Jonestown was pretty rough too, though. Actually, there's a thing about Jonestown. Um, the sorry, I was reading some of the comments. The There's a thing about Jonestown here in Alabama, and I think I want to do it. I've just got to figure out how to film, make it a little more interesting because the story itself is pretty interesting, but just all in all, like I can't truly go to the final grave because the final grave is out west, but there's an epitaph here, but it's for a different. Yeah, see, the siege was in '93, so I was I was in third grade. So yeah, that's why I said I was worried more about Ninja Turtles than the siege. I didn't know what Waco was in '93. Like I probably my little redneck butt didn't probably even know what Texas was. Like, no child left behind, right? But yeah, the the Jonestown thing, I may work on that. Like that's a good yeah. That brought that memory back up. That's pretty good. I gotta let me look at something. You graduated from high school in '93. That's great. And Carol, you're right. So like when he said he's gonna kill you and your kids, you would think you would be plotting. But then that goes back to like, well, if you are brainwashed, then like do you like we don't understand the brainwash mentality. We don't get we're not fully that committed. Like these people are ride or die, right? Like literally die. And it's crazy to think how somebody can go that deep. Leanne from Ontario. See, look, another Great White North. There we go. Is it in California? Okay. See, I knew it was somewhere out west. I just couldn't remember because the person, it's a whole different. Yeah, the name changed. It's a whole different thing because she was convinced, right? But yeah, I think it would be an interesting story. It's not one of those like famous graves or like weird graves. It's just more of an interesting story. Like I think the title would be like maybe his grave is from dying in Jonestown or something, right? Like I'd have to come up with a way to frame it, but because I don't want to clickbait, like I don't want to say like, hey, there's a guy buried here that died from Jonestown, because technically that's a lie, and I don't want to do that. So I have to come up with a way to like word it almost like a politician, right? Like he's here, but he's not here. So you almost have to word it in a way because you guys are going to watch it no matter how I put it, right? But like for the average viewer that's just maybe going to randomly see it, I have to frame it in a certain way to like go, well, let me click on that, and then that's how you get them, right? Ruby Ridge, yeah, totally, man. Oklahoma City bombing, yeah, man. We're getting deep there. I think that's a whole thing there. Yes. Which I think it would be cool. Like I don't want to say cool, but like interesting to go to the Branch Davidian and kind of just like see what's up. Like I don't know if I've seen anybody do that. Like, and if somebody steals that idea and they go do it, hey, that's cool. I'd be interested in watching it myself. Like maybe people have done it and I just haven't seen it. But to me, that does seem like a different type of. Now that's different. You say I do different stuff, but that's different, right? Like, hey, that's a different level. Because I'd be afraid too. Like I'd go in there and come out of there like, hey, it's not so bad. Then the channel would change and it'd be like back rows, Branch Davidians or something. That'd be my luck. Then I'd start trying to convert everybody. They'd get me. The memorial at Oklahoma City is really neat. I've seen a couple people do that. I do remember that. I was old enough when I remember when that happened. Like I said, I was young, but that mid to early '90s, man, it was a crazy time for that kind of stuff. It was a different era. Like it seems like it shouldn't have happened then, but it's weird. Like it was a different time as far as all that stuff. Like looking back at it, when you're going through it, it doesn't seem like it, I guess, but it's different. Yeah, the memorial's really neat though. Yeah, Lamont's great. Lamont does really good stuff. He's got two channels, by the way. Like I said earlier, I don't really. It suggests the stuff they do, like Lamont and like Grim Life and um, Faces of Forgotten. You know, like all those larger ones. It'll suggest it, but I don't really watch them because I don't want to get influenced. Like I don't want to see it and be like, oh yeah. So Scott, okay, the people let him go. Oh, that's cool. Like Scott would do it. Yeah, that's something Scott would do. See, that's more up his. Yeah, that seems like something he would do. Nothing against him. It just seems something he would be into. Not in a bad way. It's just kind of what he does. Like, if anybody would do it, I could see him doing it. He has the almost like the cojones. Like he could go in there and like he could wrangle that situation. I don't think I have to worry about the Davidians flipping Scott. It really, yeah, yep. But yeah, Lamont's great. What was that? Sorry. You hear random things sometimes, and it's like I don't know if that's my kids or what's going on because I'm downstairs in the garage. I get right, you know, I get shifted downstairs to do this. I don't get to stay upstairs. Who jumped the fence to go walk through a graveyard? Oh, it was closed. Wow. See that? See? Yeah, that's what makes them good. Dedication. Like he's kind of the OG, right? Like he's one of the originals. Like he knows what's up. He's good at what he does. Like he's one of those guys. Like if you run into him in a graveyard, I don't even know if I talk to him because it's like I don't even want to. I don't even think I'm on that level. So I just would sit there till he got done doing what he did, and then I would do what I did. Like I don't even want to like. I don't even feel like I'm in the same like atmosphere level. Like he's different. I wouldn't even bother him. And I also feel like he doesn't really. I don't know how to say this. Um, I feel like Lamont may not get the respect he deserves in a weird way. I don't even know if he cares, but I would say I had Tom Landry on the list and I didn't do it, but I had it on the list. I was just too tired. I wanted to do it, Tom Landry so bad just because it's Tom freaking Landry, you know? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do close them for some reason. Like you never know, right? They have these weird reasons, but yeah, normally at dawn to dusk, right? That's what you get. That's your time frame. They don't want you out there at night, which I guess if you know the right people, you can go out at night, but you got to know the right people. Which around October, I think I know the right people. So there's one that I want to go to. We call it the Teardrop Cemetery, and I haven't been there in years. But now that we're doing this, it is an old cemetery out in the middle of nowhere, shaped in the form of a teardrop, and it's mostly children's graves from settlers. And so, yeah, in October, I think I'm going to go out there and we're going to do a live stream. Yeah, when I come back out to Dallas, I'll definitely let you know. Like, I promise I'll do a live stream between here and now, and then I'll start announcing plans and stuff like that. So you can help me remember because God knows I'll forget. Like, I suck when it comes to stuff like this. I'm like, there's so many people that I'm like, yeah, we'll totally do something. And then I suck. Like I'm trying to balance like four different like careers and life and stuff. So yeah, you know, it gets a little like mucky. And it's one of those like if I don't, then it's like I don't mean to be like I'm not trying to be an ass about it. I just forgot, right? Like but I would love like Mickey Mantle definitely like even if we didn't film it, like just to go see Mickey Mantle, like that would be cool. Lamont, okay, so like nothing like that's the thing. Like everybody's got their own thing, right? Like he has his own way of filming, and that's what's cool. Like we that's what I like about YouTube is I have my way, and then Lamont does his thing, and the Faces of the Forgotten, he does his thing, or Grim Life, or Scott, or anybody. Like that's what's so cool is we all have our own way. There's no like cut and dry. It's like when you first start this, or like you don't even know how to talk to people about like even if I interact with people that have a channel and you say, "Well, what did you do?" or people ask me like, "Well, how what should I do?" And I have to say, "I don't know." Like, I don't even know how this happened. I just started putting videos up and here we are. Like I have no advice. I don't know like with doing keywords and thumbnails and I don't know. It just happened. It's one of those things. Like I guess if you just keep throwing a rock enough like with that shotgun approach, if you just eventually you're going to hit something. And I don't know. That's my only explanation is it just happens sometimes. Like some people get it and then it takes some people a little longer, but eventually everybody gets it. It just takes a while to get there. But the filming style, long story short, I do like that. Yeah, like I want to go. There's a couple of places. Like I almost wish I could. There's so many of those like ghost channels. Like not that I don't believe in them, but it's like there's so many of those things. Like I've had plenty of things in my life where I'm like, yeah, that's weird. But that seems like that's a hard niche to break into. Like I thought doing what I did would be tough, but I feel like trying to do the ghost hunting cryptid type Bigfoot UFO that would be a fun channel to make. I would love more than anything to go look for Bigfoot. Like I can't get over that, but I just don't know. That would be a hard channel to break into as far as like to do something with. It'd be fun to make those videos. That's why I'm gonna like try to do it in October. Like I'm gonna try to go do some of those videos in October, and that way I can get it all out of my system in a month. And so like every year I can look forward to doing it, and it would be more fun in October. See, the tongue tied thing, like for me, it's hard to come up with things to say. Like once you guys get in here and you start commenting, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm good. Like, but up until then, I can't. Like I don't. I just sit here and I eat my like I got my jelly beans. See, I just eat jelly beans and drink sweet tea until somebody says something because I don't really know what. Yeah, I like okay, so I like the lawn care guys too, which is weird. Like I don't know why I watch people tell me how to take care of my grass because I never do what they say. Like everything they say, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to get that kind of grass and I'm buying that fertilizer. And I got to make sure it's got 0, 15, 82, 14, whatever that is, right? And I never do it. But I love watching them tell me how to do it for me to never do it. Well, okay, so I don't want to get too sidetracked, but the Bigfoot thing, what do you think about that one up in Ohio, that grass man? You think that was real? I just watched that like yesterday or day before yesterday. The Ohio grass man or whatever they called it. It was some video that went viral. I just saw it now. It's been there for a while apparently. Um, and the other thing that I watched too, like Carol said, was the lawn care thing. And I like to watch RV travel shows. And I don't know why. Like Traveling Robert. Love that dude. I love watching that kind of stuff. Like he just travels around. He's got his little RV with him, and he just does his thing, which I think is cool. That's great. Then yeah, like camping, hiking. Like as fat as I am, I love watching hiking videos. Maybe that's my exercise. Like I watch somebody else hike 10 miles a day, and I'm like, whew, what a workout. Josh, what's up? Like, I hate you got here late. Like, I got to go soon. So I don't want you to be like, well, I just logged in and he left. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Like, I don't know how long how long I got. It's 8 o'clock. So I got to get kids to bed and stuff. Even though it is the summer, it's one of them things. They still got to get their beauty sleep. But yeah, I have this. It's like I watch, like I have this field where we do, where you and I go do the graves and whatever Civil War stuff. But I don't watch the videos. It's so weird. Yeah, I guess East Coast, y'all may be 9, right? Yeah, if, like, or if you're on the West Coast, it'd be just starting to get late. Probably like 6 o'clock over there. Reptiles, yeah, I don't want to fool with that either, though. I don't blame you. I don't want no part of that. No, it's all good. I honestly didn't even know I was going to do it, and I decided at like 5:30. I was like, I think I'm gonna do a live stream. So it's one of those things because it's been a month since I done one. So I was like, well, I owe it to everybody. Bigfoot and UFOs take the most blurriest pictures. You know, you hear these people say, "Oh, it's like some magnetic force field." I love all that stuff. It's so goofy, and that's why I love it because it don't make sense. Like they come up with these absolute dumb answers. Like they have this magnetic force field that causes cameras not to take pictures, and I love it. Like, or the picture that I take comes back blurry because they have this anomaly. They like words like that, anomaly. Those are their fun. Those are their. They love big weird words that sound confusing and make you sound smart but don't really make sense. They like saying that stuff. But it is fun. Or Bigfoot likes to be in a tree and out of a tree, like he's never just like looking at you. Like he's always like kind of, you really don't know what he is. But that one video I watched, it's one of those like, oh, well, if that's a dude in a suit, that's pretty good. They did legit. Like it made me watch it. They got me. Because it even showed like he had a follow-up video where he showed all the stuff that he got put on, almost like he's bragging, right? Which that's what made me go like, oh, okay. But he hasn't uploaded to that channel, I think, in like 9 or 10 months. So that's why I thought, you know, yeah, that I did the alien out in Texas. Carol, we'll see you later. I'm fixing to go anyway. I hope I see you. I'll talk to you again before a month. But hey, you never know, right? Sometimes. Like I'm gonna try to do another one next week, but I don't really. You never know what can happen. It could be 2 weeks or a month, or I'm gonna try to know sooner, more, quicker than the next one. Yeah, but I did do the DT on the alien in Aurora, and I think there's another one maybe in North Carolina or something like that, somewhere around in there. There might be in Georgia. I feel like I've read a thing about that too. There's there's a couple of like those kind of things. Good night, Leanne. There's a few random things, you know. Like I've compiled a list, a couple more randoms I want to go to because it's been a while since we've done a good random. See, that's the thing. Why are they filming at the angle at that exact moment to catch, the yeah, I got your DM, don't worry. Well, I haven't checked it yet, but I'll check it here in a minute. Yeah, the Instagram, I put up a picture when we went to Gatlinburg, and it's like, really, that's the last time I traveled because we got sick and all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to start posting more to that to try to, I don't know, give y'all something else to look at. Like I do have an Instagram account, believe it or not. I don't really use it much, but I got one, and it's just tough. I don't know. Like it's young. I'm not old, but I'm not young, so it's weird for me to like. Good night, Brexton. It's hard for me to like do everything. Like I don't know. Like I just don't. I work in IT, but I still don't like care to social media and YouTube, and it's weird. Like I'm a social media. Like I'm on YouTube, so I guess that's social media, but I don't like social mediaing. Like I almost feel like I could use a person. Yeah. See the Bigfoot and the aliens. Yeah. If they were smart, they wouldn't even be here. They would leave and go somewhere else because this place is screwed, right? We've done messed this place up enough. Like they ain't here to help us. If they were, they would have done tried to fix it. That's for sure. I think they're just here watching it burn, right? It's like a good show. They're just here with popcorn, watching everything go to hell. But I'll watch that video of the broken bow. I definitely got to check that out. I want to see what that's all about because it is the angles. That's how you know sometimes the angles cross over, and it's like, well, why were they filming at that angle? Doesn't really make too much sense. But it is fun to believe though. Like I'm the one guy that's like wants no more, wants more than anybody for it to be real. But I do think I got to start wrapping this up though before I get in trouble. I got to, because I'm fixing to start getting little knocks on the door saying like, "Hey, I'm ready to go to sleep." So yeah. You know, I do have a Facebook, but it's our old. Well, it's not old. We just haven't started it back. We have a podcast. We just haven't produced anything in like a year because obviously I've been this YouTube channel thing happened. Twitter, it's more just like I don't know, like town square with people yelling. It's what I think of like how it feels to me. And Facebook, you just don't know. Like it's weird. And most like if you ask any kid under what 20, like that's totally not the cool thing to do. Like, ew, like they don't want no part of that. Which I haven't, but I just don't even use it because, like I said, it's for the old. Like you can look that up on Apple Podcast and it's there. We just haven't produced anything in like a year. It's a sports podcast. Uh, we I we're on an extended break because there's this YouTube channel thing that happened. But I hope come let's see, maybe the end of July that we'll put us one back out. We'll start back. Then I'll have like 6 different jobs. We'll have the Backroads channel, we'll have the golf channel, and then we'll have our podcast. Because everybody has a podcast, don't they? There's like 8 million podcasts now. So it's like, why not add another one to it? Which we've done that thing for like 4 years. We just took a year off. But yeah, I think we're calling it quits. It's 8:15 and yeah, it's about time. I do believe it's about time. This has been great though. I've had fun. I think this is the longest live stream I've done. It shows we're at an hour and 47 minutes. Which yeah, normally we average around an hour. So yeah, it's been an extra 47 minutes. Yeah. So I think it's pretty good. We've done good tonight, guys. It looks like there's 3 people left. So to you 3 people, thank you for watching. You're the only 3 left. Everybody's done quit on us. I said it was over and they just bailed. They just left. They said, I'm going to bed. So I think that's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to get ready to go to bed. So thank you guys so much for the 3 people that are left. True crime is big, I know. And don't forget, I'll check you out. I'll look at your DM as soon as I get off. Yeah, then we'll work that out. But yeah, man, this has been fun. I'm glad I did it. I got to do it more often. I keep saying that. Like I've started turning into one of these crappy crappy YouTube channels that have got full of themselves that don't care about their fans anymore. It's what I feel like when I miss one of these. Like I've let y'all down. That's my problem. Even though I know y'all understand life, but you know. So yeah, it's enough. I think we've done well tonight, y'all. Maybe next week. If not next week, then I'm going to do another one the week after that. We've got Joe Diffie, and for the 4 of you that are here, I'll give you a little tip of the hat to what's coming. So we've got Joe Diffie, Junior Samples, and Brad Renfro. Those are the 3 over the next couple of weeks. Plus, there's going to be a compilation in there somewhere. So we'll have Joe Diffie, probably the compilation, then Renfro, and then maybe Samples, which, it just depends. The Samples, I don't know yet. because somebody had done him years ago, and I think YouTube may push it. It's one of those. I don't know yet. So we'll see. Yes, life with kids, especially. So yeah, you know what's up. Maybe see y'all next week. If not, we'll try again the next week. But hopefully this coming up week, if there ain't nothing going on, I'd like to try to do this again. I don't think I'm gonna go play golf. If I do, I'm gonna post a question thing, which there's only 2 of you guys watching right now anyway. But for you watching later, I'm gonna post a question thing, and like y'all can leave questions and then I'll answer them as I'm playing golf. And that way we can just talk about stuff too. So yeah. Thanks so much. I guess I'll see you guys either next week or the week after that. It'll be one of the two. So I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you're one of these 3 that's still here, tell somebody you love them. That'll make their day.